Hi. Today I just want to talk a little bit about stretching as it applies to me as a therapist and my clients. Firstly, we all know that the most flexible athletes, people in the world, are dancers, gymnasts, and yogis. And I'm sure there are other movements or modalities that will incorporate flexible people. The reason why they are so flexible is because they stretch repetitively throughout the day. It's their practice. Okay, so that should tell you something. If you get a normal person, I'm a normal person, yeah, or even more normal person, my mom, okay, that comes in to see you, and they're stiff, yeah, they're not that flexible. There's a reason why, because they probably don't stretch. Most people don't stretch, okay? Secondly, the folk that are flexible generally are structurally built that way. Fine, so the Beighton scale, where you ask someone to try to touch their wrist with their thumb, very flexible people can. Can you pull your fingers as far back as possible? Very flexible people get all the way back here. But what happens if they straighten their arm? They very often hyperextend. Yeah? Touch your toes. What do very flexible people do? They'll put their palms on the floor. It's hyperflexibility. A lot of flexible people hyperextend. You can also grab someone's skin. Yeah? Very flexible people are incredibly elastic. They've got more elastin in their collagen. Okay? So they were born Gumbies, and they gravitate towards movement that allows them to demonstrate this flexibility. So we are not all equal. Right. Knowing this, if you dig a little bit deeper, if you want to increase someone's flexibility, okay, you need to hold a stretch statically. Hold a static stretch for about 30 minutes. So you go into the plasticity, the plastic part of a muscle. Plastic is just before you tear something. Alright, so you don't overstretch. If you hold that stretch for 30 minutes, you will increase sarcomeres and series. You actually lengthen the muscle. Yeah? Anything less than 30 minutes, you probably are going to make a neurological change. Your nerves get used to the new length, so they allow you to move into that. It's just like getting warmed up. The warmer you get, the more you can stretch, but you go back to the status quo where you were. So knowing that, in my treatments, I'm not going to hold someone for 30 minutes in a static stretch. I'll lose all my customers. Okay? So, as you know, I'm a big believer in the nervous system. I believe that tissue flexibility or tissue mobility is the first step in increasing functional flexibility. So in my treatments now, I do very little stretching. Yeah? I do a lot of tissue. This is stretching the tissue, of course it is. Yeah? And stretching the ligaments and the tendons, squeezing, moving, making them feel better. And then if they are open, afterwards I suggest Tai Chi, yoga, going for a brisk walk, just doing movements that you like, yeah? Just introducing functional flexibility into their lives. But during a treatment, I know, based on science, that me stretching someone, I'm not actually changing their tissue structure. I'm not actually lengthening. I'm not saying it doesn't make them feel better. Of course it does, and it shows them the possibility of what stretching can do, how it can make them feel better. But as a therapist now, I do very little stretching on the table. I do a lot of muscle, tissue, and passive structure stretching and squeezing and loosening. And then, as I said, if they are amenable, when they get off the table, I will show them some gentle stretches, which if they perform like a dancer, like a yogi, regularly, and it takes a while, yeah, they will increase their functional flexibility. And functional is different for different people. Yogis, functional flexibility is being able to do a good downward dog. This is a bad downward dog. But functionally, I don't need to do that. Okay? Functional flexibility for most of my patients is being able to rotate and look behind them when they reverse. Fine. So use your imagination and give them some functional flexibility that will increase their flexibility over time. One more interesting thing, static stretching, there's nothing wrong with it, okay? But it de-innervates, yeah, muscles. So to statically stretch makes you weaker, just temporarily, okay? But it's good to know if you treat sportsmen, tell them not to static stretch if they do before an event. Dynamic stretching, fantastic, that wakes up the nervous system. But static doesn't. It de-innervates, it makes you weaker. Good to know. What else? The best time to stretch, you probably all know this, is after a workout. The most important thing is to warm up, get nice and hot, do your workout, and then stretch. And something really interesting I didn't know, when you stretch after a workout, all the hormones that you release, growth hormone, testosterone, estrogen, I think lots, stretching actually promotes the absorption of all those good chemicals, endorphins, into your muscles and into your system. So static stretching after exercise, brilliant. Yeah, that's about it. Okay, thanks for watching.